This is a quick video about draining a swimming pool. The reason for my draining is because I had high cyanuric acid levels for the last couple of years, hovering around 120, 140. This year it was 160, and decided after trying the bioactive product without success, needed to get those cyanuric acid levels down so that the chlorine would function properly. I thought the drainage of a pool would be relatively straightforward, but I've encountered several problems. I'm going to let you know what had going on. This is my pool equipment. To drain a pool, I've found several videos of here's the inlet to the pool pump. This is spoil side line, and here's pool side line. There's several videos that have the pool side line separated from main drain and skimmers. I did not have any of those options. It looks like it's just a single pool side line. So that means that my skimmers and the main drain are all tied together. My pool skimmers are standard Panter, Bermuda, gunite pool skimmers. They come with the float valves that look like this. This is a diagram of the skimmer. See, if you look down here in the hole, there's an inlet, and there's two holes, and that corresponds to this here. The one furthest away from the pool side is always, this goes to the pump, and this is to the main drain. If you see, that corresponds to this diagram here. From the main drain, and this line goes to the pool pump. Main drain is down at the bottom there, way down there. So I was finding that when I was draining my pool, the pool water wasn't draining any lower than, than the skimmers. And the reason was, I thought, was because the rubber seal around here, those were missing, and this pull float also has a little rubber seal, normally when it's brand new, that was missing. So it wasn't creating a vacuum seal to create the space for the water to flow from the drain side to the pool side. It was sucking in air. It was making a gurgling sound, and so air was getting in the line, and then the pull pump in effect from the main drain had halted. This is a Panter float valve, brand new. It came with the rubber seal there. Just want to show you also, this has a little slider that you can shut off the main drain if you want the water mostly to come from your skimmer, to have maximum skimming effect and not have any circulation from the bottom of the pool drain. Also, this skimmer on the bottom has a slider. I read a lot of videos that these tend to break off. I think this thing is about 20 years old. It's still intact. And of course, when I was trying to drain the pool, this would be in the completely closed position, so that there's no circulation. And I had this, despite this having it down there tightly, I was still getting an air leak and not a tight seal, so I wasn't able to drain the bottom of the pool. I want to show you this diagram here. If your skimmer and float valve and all the seals are working correctly, this will make a watertight seal, so that the water, when the pump is on, the water from the bottom drain will go right up into this little chamber, and then it'll be just sucked out right into the pump. But I was unfortunately getting persistent air leaks despite new seals and new float valves. So what I did was I ordered a brand new pull float valve for my skimmer. It was a Panter model 506160, and this came with a brand new rubber seal for the outside. And if you look here under this pull float, there's a rubber seal in there. You can barely see it, but that's this. When the water gets low, this float is supposed to fall down and then create a vacuum seal, so that the water can just flow. There's about, you can't see it from the depth, but there's about 3 inches of depth between the top of where this skimmer sits, like that. About 3 inches between that and then the pipes below. So if you have a good pump flow. It should create a... one last thing I wanted to show. If you wanted to just buy simply the ring that seals the bottom of the float valve, this is the part number. I found this on eBay, about $10 with shipping. That was a good price. Not sure it'll make much of a difference, but cheaper than buying the whole unit. Okay, here at the pool control equipment side, I've placed the control unit on the service side, turning on the pool pump filter, and I've already changed the actuators so that it's only drawing in water from the pool to the pump, and I had a hose connected to here. This is, if I open this up, that will drain water. But again, as I mentioned, the water was not getting any lower than the level of the inlets for the skimmers. And let me show you what's happening here. That wasn't sitting flush down at the bottom. I found it floating up, so I ended up putting a stone to try to hold it down. And even despite that, after priming the line with water and getting water back in the line so the pump would function effectively, I would hear a persistent gurgling sound when the pump was on. That meant the air was getting into the line here, even despite the brand new pull valve float and put on a heavy weight like that. So that was very frustrating, especially since these pull valve floats run about $65. I don't know if it had to do with my equipment being old or simply the pull float valve wasn't making a good seal. So what did I do? At the end of the day, I went out to good old Harbor Freight to pick up one of these submersible utility pumps. You want to make sure it says utility pump because you can attach a standard garden hose to the utility pump side, and this pumps out at 2,000 gallons an hour. That plugs right into the wall. This is a submersible pump, and I have my garden hose attached to it, and that's currently pumping right now 2,000 gallons an hour. Seems a little slow. This is about a 25,000 gallon pull tank, and I think I'm only planning on draining about 70% to get my cyanuric acid level down to the 30 to 40 range. But this little pump is very effective, and this cost me about $100 at Harbor Freight Tools, considering that these silly side float valves cost $65, and I only bought one, not the two. This is going to be the most cost-effective method of draining this pool. And here again, I'll show you my setup. This fell in the water, so it's all wet here, but there are two skimmers, and they each tie into the main drain, and then they have on the other side, the other hole, connects together for the pump. And this all is hooked up together, and it's going to a single line to my pump. So I couldn't turn off these skimmers separately from my main drain. And therefore I thought, okay, well, sealing these with the new float valves, that would do the trick, but in fact that didn't do the trick. So save yourself a lot of time and headache, and it's just worthwhile to, if you're going to plan to drain, just get yourself a dedicated water pump. If you happen to have a Harbor Freight available or something online at a reasonable price, it'll just save you a lot of time and headache. And unfortunately, I'm out to $65 for the new float valve. Once the pool is full, I have my other equipment. I have my automatic pool sweep. Maybe I'm not getting as much circulation from the bottom, but I have the overflow from the spa side, so I get ample circulation of water, and I never have any trouble with balance issues apart from the cyanuric acid. I don't think these are necessary to have completely sealed and for your skimmers to work right. And you hear that gurgling sound right now. That's water being sucked in the line. I shouldn't leave the pump on because that's not good for it. I'll go turn it off right now. But in any case, I wanted to share that experience with all of you. Very frustrating. Several days trying to troubleshoot these float valves and make seals and so on to try to drain the pool. But at the end of the day, just getting that pool pump was the most effective. Thank you for watching. Good luck.